Okay, we're recording.
All right.
Okay, yes. So you were in France?
All right. I'll tell you about being in France, not my visit. It was just that I had to be there.
Right, right.
But we landed, not landed, let's see, we got to France. We stopped at the big village of Villacoblet, which is right next to the airport that Lindbergh landed.
And Lindbergh landed there.
Yeah. And they have a little restaurant over there they had there, and Lindbergh's propeller is on a wall.
Oh, how about that?
His original propeller. They left it on the wall as a memento. So we ate there quite a few times. I know we had steaks there sometime. I doubt it whether it was really beef steak or whether it was horse steak.
Right, good.
And from Villacoblet we'd go to Paris, which is not too far away. Took the little metro from Montparnasse. Paris was just about 15 minutes away.
So the metro was still running though?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Paris was pretty nice there, which was the American bar there. We usually went to the American bar, had some drinks, and walked around Paris, went through the Arch de Triomphe, Eiffel Tower, and all of that. Went through that thing a number of times. So we knew Paris pretty well. The American bar mostly GIs were in there. GIs drinking beer and talking about things. Met a lot of people there. Some of them pretty strange.
Yeah. Do you remember what unit you were in?
Huh?
Do you remember what unit you were in when you were there?
Oh yeah, I was at the 8th Depot Advance. Our job was to establish advanced airfields and repair the fighter planes that came in. Some of them came in pretty bad shape. So our job was mostly to establish an advanced airfield and then take care of the aircraft.
Okay.
That was it. So, so Paris was stopped after we were in Cherbourg. Cherbourg was the first stop we made in. And I got the picture of Cherbourg, some of the German planes that we knocked down.
Oh yeah? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you looked at them, you seen them.
I may have seen some of them, but yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it again.
When was there, Timmy was there, he was anxious to look at them. He was here when Timmy was here.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
I showed him the pictures,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
That's about the only pictures I got from over there.
Well, I guess you were a little busy over there.
Yeah, other than that, that's phase 2. Sometime I'll talk about phase 3.
Okay.
Or 2.
How did you get over there to Europe? Were you on a ship or you flew from the States?
No, we went with LST.
Hey, it's my phone. I'm going to stop it. Okay, we're on again.
I would talk sometime again about another phase of my life.
Right. Right. So so did you say you flew from the States to France?
No, we come from the States. We came by ship.
By ship.
Yeah, then we landed in England. Of course, we were in England for a few months before we went to France. France, we landed 8 days after V-Day, and our first objective was Cherbourg. That's the first field we took. And of course there was a lot of German planes on the ground beat up. We took advantage of some of those planes. Took the leather off the tank, gasoline tanks, sold it to the French shoemakers for whatever. I had one for a long time. I carried it in my barrage bag because we slept outside a lot of times. And but I don't know what happened to it. I must have left it there someplace.
Maybe it's still on Mullet Street.
No, I didn't bring it
We're
here.
in France. I think it's 161. Yeah, we were talking about when you were in France last time, when you were
Now, what are
in
you
the
going to
army.
talk about?
Well, so how about when you came home from France, when you came home from the army?
What's that?
How about when you came home from the army?
Oh,
When did you come home? Do you remember when you got out?
Yeah, I was home from the army. I stayed home for about 2 weeks and then I went to work.
Okay.
Back to Baldwin.
Back to Baldwin. Okay.
And
That's right. You worked at Baldwin on the
I had-
locomotives.
at priority, took me right back in quick. You got top priority.
Good.
And there, I think I displaced some one or two people down there going back to work.
Yeah. Well,
So I worked in Baldwin another 3 years. So 3 years. And I know Baldwin's is going to go under because they're not building big locomotives anymore. I mean, they big, not small locomotives, but big. They call them triple E's. So I went there 3 years, and then my city put out an exam for a machinist, mechanic. I took that out, and I came out #1. So I went down there for an interview. First, I turned it down first time because we had to take a pay cut to about $3,000.
oh, okay.
Pretty good. But the guy over there that interviewed me, he really wanted me. Look, what you think it over? I'll come back next week. Come on. He said, it's a good steady job here.
Right.
His name was Myers, I remember him. Ed Myers. So I went back another week here. I said, well, I'm going to take that job. Because I know Baldwin's going to start laying off too. So I took the job there with the city.
Good.
So I went up the ladder. Became foreman, supervisor, superintendent.
Yeah, yes, you did. You did great.
Took all these exams and I went right up. So I quit as superintendent.
Oh, a great time. Luckily, there's no traffic, and I was driving like a crazy.
Oh, there she is.
Hi, how you doing?
Recording.
Oh, you are?
Okay.
Are you recording? Recording. I'm recording. Well, that's all right. I'll stop it so we can. We're recording. So, what's your first memory, Chutch, when you were little? Do you remember what is your first memory?
Oh, I remember when I was little and I got a rocking chair. And they said it was Santa Claus gave it to me through the chimney.
Mm-hmm.
I must have been about 3 or 4 years old. It was Christmas time.
So that was special.
That was a special. I never forgot that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah. How about you, Dad? What's your first memory when you were little?
Well, when I was a kid, my big interest was airplanes. And I built a lot of airplanes.
Yeah.
I remember my father used to hang them on a chandelier in the kitchen. I don't know whether you remember or not. I used to build all kind of airplanes. He used to hang them up over there.
Oh, that was good.
Then I built bigger ones and better ones all the time.
Right. Right, that's good.
He was always busy. He was always busy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I always did. I was busy. I always had something to do.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
And one time there, I had a lot of stuff I didn't want nobody to touch. And we had an overtroller. And it had 2 doors on it. I said, I got to put a lock on it somehow. I did put a lock on it. Nobody could find how it's locked.
Did you try to get into that box, Judge?
What I did, I drilled a hole in the bottom and put a screw in it. So I need a screwdriver to pull a screw out and open the door. My father couldn't figure out how I got that thing locked.
That's good.
They were good young days.
Yes,
Yeah,
right.
Now, Babcha and Jaja, what do you remember about them? Like, where did they come from? You know, what do you remember? What towns in Poland they were from?
Well, they were good people, very good people. My father came from the Russian side of Poland, and my mother came from the Austria side of Poland. But they met in the United States, married here.
Did they ever tell you how they met?
Yeah, Zapiec, his wife, worked with my mother, and she was somehow related, and she introduced my mother to her, told her husband to have him introduce my father to her, and that's how they met,
Okay.
through Zapiec. Yes.
Okay. So that was good.
Yeah.
That was good. And where did they get? They got married in Philadelphia.
They got married in Philadelphia, and they lived on the 4th floor, and they had their first baby there, Matthew, which he died in, when was that sickness?
Diphtheria.
Diphtheria, yeah. And she said she used to walk to work, go to work, and there was no railing from the 4th floor down. And she had a hard time holding the baby and the packages and take him to the babysitter to go to work. That I remember.
Okay. So she worked. She worked.
She worked.
She worked.
She worked at a cigar factory.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And one time she quit because she didn't do a good job. And the boss came after her and told her to come back to work because they want her to work. And she said she felt so bad because she ruined some cigars.
Aw.
And they wanted her back. Yes.
And how about Jaja? Was he working at Horton Hardens
My
then?
mother
or-
worked in Jersey too. She had
Yeah.
trouble crossing
Yes.
Dollar Avenue a lot of times because they had trains going through it. And the train used to block the whole street.
Okay.
No, the long train, remember?
Yes. Yeah.
She was always getting upset about it. She had to take the ferry,
Just get the ferry to go to
and the
Jersey.
river sunk. And it was my job to clean it up.
And you did a great job. You did get it cleaned up.
And
Right,
I
right.
never thought I'd be working and
Yeah.
cleaning the river up.
Yeah.
That's about it. That's part of it anyway. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, well, that's,
Oh,
you know.
yes. Yeah, but doesn't seem so long. I remember something about your brother.
What?
When he was going to make his first communion, he sat down the basement with a cat. All he did was he couldn't get upstairs, but he sat down the cellar with the cat. He was going to go to his first communion, make his communion. Before that, to make his confirmation. No. Yeah,
Oh, it was penance?
Penance.
Go first penance?
yeah.
Okay.
And he just sat there and stood down that cellar with the cat and stood down the cellar with the cat. And my mother
was that?
you.
Oh, me, oh.
You. And you just sat down the cellar with
Oh,
the
yeah,
cat.
I had a pet cat. That cat would only come to me.
Yeah. And you only sat with him and that whole time that before he did his communion, made his confirmation, confession, he sat down there. And we couldn't get him to come upstairs.
Right.
I remember that.
I remember the cat.
You remember?
In the morning, the cat would jump right to me.
What was it? Do you remember the cat's name?
Cat. I didn't give it no name. I don't remember giving it a name.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
Now, I remember Babcha said she had a sister that was in France, right?
She had a sister and a brother that was in France, which I believe that her name was French, not Polish.
Okay.
And there must have been in her family that was been married a Frenchman. It was Sidak.
Okay.
and that is a French name.
Okay.
And ever since then, her sister and her brothers all went to France. They all worked there. And her sister's son, at that time, had the only television station in France. He owned it. And he was the president of Bank of America. And he did come to the United States to Florida. And he sent her a card, my mother a card. But they were angry because Stanley was in France and he never went to see them.
He was sidetracked by the war, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they live in Astigor, not too far where I was, and had a tough time trying to see him anyway.
But you tried.
Huh?
You tried.
I tried. Yeah, I tried. I couldn't get a jeep. If I got a jeep, they're only about 5 miles away. Maybe 5, maybe 10. Then I would have to find them too.
Right.
So I couldn't get a jeep.
Is there any?
But I was in France. I met these Polish people on the farm. I had a lot of clothes to be washed, and I had to get somebody to wash them for me. So I went to this farm. I knocked at the door, and I told her in French, "Would you be able to wash clothes for me?" And she hollered to her husband in Polish. You know, he says, "You know, tutaj soldat jest, to zabijamy wypraw." However, she had it said in Polish. And I says, "Pani Polska?" And she turned around, "The Polski? Yeah, oh, what's your tie?" "Oh, Pan Polski."
Right. That's good.
So we got real friendly there. We used to play dudek. And I was a real good dudek player. They could never make me do that.
Did you play Tin Chutch when you were?
No, I never
didn't play?
played cards. Well, my mother and father did. They always played cards, but I never did. I never
Yeah,
bothered me.
I was able to count the cards. I knew just who's who and who's weak and who's strong.
Yeah.
And these people down there can't understand. Can't make it do it. And then he had drinks over there. I remember. I'll never forget those drinks. He bought a bottle of beach whiskey, and he gave me a little bit on it. I said to him, "The pan stingy?" I said, "You stingy about giving me?" And he says, "Lepiej, jak ty lubisz, ja ci dam pełno." Well, I took this thing a little down. I couldn't get my breath. Pure alcohol. I said, "Keep it." He drank more than that, and he had handlebar mustaches of them.
Curled the mustache, huh?
So she used to wash my clothes. I used to give her a lot of soap and candy and cigarettes, and they were very happy.
Well, that's good. That's
And
good.
they stayed there about 2 or 3 weeks, I remember.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah. What was going on here though while he was in the service? Who was Teddy in the service at the same time too?
Who?
Teddy, your brother, was he in the service at the same time?
He was in the Pacific.
Yeah. He was in the Pacific. He was a Marine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pearl Harbor.
Yeah. He had a hard time there. Yeah.
No. Now, when did he go into the service?
Huh?
Before
When?
you.
Before?
Who?
Teddy.
I think when
Before
me.
you.
They wouldn't let me go. I was going to go with Teddy,
Yeah.
the cousin Teddy,
Oh, okay.
because I got him a job in Baldwin's. So he worked with me there. But they wouldn't let me go, because I was one of the top machinists over at the time. So I had to wait about 6 or 7 months.
So he wanted to go into the Navy. And my mother says, "You're not going into the Navy. Because you ain't going to have no fish eating you up." Right? The guy come home even and everything. She says, "No, I will not let my son go into the Navy." Right?
Yeah, so we took this test for the Air Corps, and we both passed. They took Ted right away.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't release me. So about almost a year later, I finally went. Because I was didn't want to work no more. I gotta go. I gotta get out. Everybody's in a service.
Right. You don't want to be left behind, huh?
So they sent me to college
Well,
for a year.
for a year, okay. Well, that's good. That's good.
And so I went through flying classes and I was going into advanced, and just we can't hire any more pilots because we don't have the planes, so everybody had a chance to move on. So I had a spec number 114, which originally is a tech sergeant. So I went in there as a mechanic. And you've seen some of those pictures I had.
Yeah.
So I stayed there as a machinist mechanic. I was in a depot repair. It was better than front lines.
Yeah, I would think
But
so.
then again, we got beat up quite a few times.
Yeah.
So that gave me 3 battle stars. One in Cherbourg, one in the Bottle of Bulge, and one in the coming into the beach.
You were in the landing? The Normandy?
Huh?
Normandy? Were you in Normandy?
Yeah, Normandy, yeah.
Normandy. And what was going on here while they were overseas?
Well, it was ration. We
Yeah.
were rationed. And my mother went to work. She worked at the liquor place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, tried to be doing whatever had to be done. That's it. Right, just hoping that our boys would come home.
Come on. Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, what more can I tell you?
I don't know.
You have to find another episode.
I'll have to find another episode. I don't know. Well, like I said, we started with your earliest memories, and that's good.
Yeah.
You remember? Well, how about going to the shore? When did you start going to the shore? Like when you were kids?
But we were
Well,
kids.
yeah, you should know a lot about that too.
Yeah.
We took you all in that 65 wagon.
Right.
You and Helen didn't go too much, or Frank's family, my family. Everybody got squeezed in there.
Right.
Would you go that wagon too?
What?
Go to shore?
On the shore. I thought it was the shore,
Sure,
yeah.
we had to go on the ferry because we didn't have a car.
Yeah.
We had to go. We went sometimes for 2 weeks, and we had all these bundles to carry, and because we didn't have suitcases, so we had to go on the boat to cross the river, and then we get the train to take us to Atlantic City. And my father had this place with German people, and they served home style. The family sat there and they just put the food on the table, but the rooms were so little. There's just that bed and you can't turn around, and that's it. To get dressed on the bed and out you went. Remember? They were real tiny. Yeah.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah. Now, did Judge go with you when you went, or did he stay back here to work, or did everybody go when you went to the
All
shore?
of us kids went together.
Everybody went.
We all went. Oh yeah. My father was saving that money, and
Right.
every day he come with his change because he was a waiter, and he'd get a handful of money and put it on that empty leg under the table. That was for the vacation down the shore, and he was a good swimmer.
My father, he liked the shore.
He loved the shore. He got how many times he got snow poisoning? Oh my gosh.
Had one picture of him standing on the shore.
Yeah.
What's that picture where he's standing?
I don't know.
You remember that picture? He's all by himself there, sunburned.
Yeah, he was all sunburned.
Yeah.
But he loved the shore. Yeah, he said it was good for you.
Yeah.
I
So,
remember where that picture
and my
was.
mother-
He was all by himself, standing.
But my mother really didn't care to go because, but she had to go because he wanted to go. But at the time on the boardwalk, the people walked in gowns and top hats and things like that. Remember, the people walked on the boardwalk with gowns and top hats and long coats and things like that. And we were just watching them. Yeah.
It was like watching a fashion show, huh?
Yeah, no, that's how the people dressed over there for the evening. Because Atlantic City was the first place that ever started this stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's had to be interesting.
Yeah.
So you all went and you stayed for a couple of weeks in in the little rooms. But you had fun.
Usually 2 weeks. We did. My mother couldn't wait to go home already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because she said the clothes were all dirty and everything. And you know, when you come home, everybody dropped everything. And
At that time, when we went by train.
yeah.
Train, go to ferry.
Yeah.
Train was waiting. Big train, you had to go home.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Did Babcha always work?
No.
Did she always work? Babcha, did she always work?
No, not always. Was it
was a one-
when Walt was small? You didn't go to school or something, and you took care of Walt. What was that? Remember?
What's that?
When Walt was small, you took care of Walt, and she was working.
Yeah,
You didn't. What happened there? I don't remember.
that's when I had appendicitis.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
Oh.
I stayed home, she worked, I took care of him for a while.
Oh, you took care of Walt, and she went to work.
Where'd she work at?
In Jersey, cigar factory.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How about that? So, when did you remember her teaching you how to sew? Because she taught you how to sew, right?
Well, my first thing, I was about 8 years old, and I make my brother Walt a sunsuit. But I always had an argument with my mother because she says I always lost her needles, and I thought she never knew where she put them. So it wasn't always an argument there. It was the old sewing machine with the hand, you know. And my father tried to get in there, but there was always this argument. You lost my needle, and I says to myself, you didn't even know where you put it, or I didn't even lose it, you know. But that's when I started sewing. Yeah. I was about 8.
Remember when I had excuse me, appendicitis. I was laying in bed, I couldn't sleep, I was moaning. And my father wanted me to go to sleep, and I moaning. My father said there's something wrong with him, something bad. So he got up at night, and he went to the doctor's, banged at the door, and took the local doctor up. The doctor looked up, he said, get him to the hospital right away. So they took me to the hospital there. He says, I remember the doctor said, if they said in the morning, I wouldn't be around.
Yeah.
But I remember they had tubes in there because it almost broke, or it broke on it. Draining tubes sticking out of it, stuff was draining out of it. I still remember that. But if Pop didn't get up in the morning to kick me, I wouldn't be here.
See? Yeah.
That means we wouldn't be here either.
wouldn't be
That's
here.
right.
Nobody be
That's
here.
right. Yeah, that's right.
Our kids wouldn't be here.
I remember that clear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know I was eating a lot of Indian seed, Indian
I
poly
know.
seeds, and I think I did it.
Call them.
That's what did it, the seeds?
Yeah, because
Well,
you need to call. I text
but
your
I
number
think,
because,
I don't know.
she's
I don't
like,
know whether,
if
does
you
that
can
really
make
do it, or would it have happened anyway, even if you didn't eat the seeds? That just
that's true.
aggravated, you
That's
know?
true.
He
Just
loves
aggravated.
the stuff.
But,
That's true.
yeah, so.
So call the number and text
Well, we'll
her.
think of another episode
Okay, we'll think of another episode. You want to close this
and to put it
episode?
all together.
Yeah. We'll put it together, right, okay.
Oh, boy.
And it's on Cha-Cha Helen's
Oh.
89th birthday. So happy birthday, happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Thank you, sweetheart.
welcome.
Thank you. This was one of my happiest birthdays.
Happy, nice happy birthday. I
Yes,
didn't get you a
thank
card,
you.
but I
Thank
didn't
you.
give it to
Oh,
anybody.
that's okay.
It's a nice farm, a big farm.
And then you
They had
and it's already starting recording.
So it's recording now,
I think they
okay.
had at least 30 or 40
And I
cows,
think to stop it, hit it again.
mostly a milk
I
farm.
want him to,
Okay.
I milked a lot of cows
I know, what about you, sit with Judge?
as a kid, his age.
Yeah?
Go ahead. Good, sit down, I'm recording. Okay, you tell them about what was it at the farm where you got your soda? You got
what?
you got a soda?
A soda.
Or was that your godmother gave you a soda?
A what?
A soda, remember you told me she gave you a soda and she gave you the whole bottle?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. She took good care of me. It was my godmother.
What was her name?
What's her name? Yankowski. Her name, I remember her name was, I always called her Chachi. Chachi.
So you did a lot of milking cows on the farm. This is your vacation, huh? This doesn't sound like a vacation.
Oh, yeah, I liked it. I was always happy to go to the farm for a week or two.
Yeah? So who all went? Was it the whole family, just you?
No, they took me there and left me there for a week.
I'm guessing there was 2 vacations going on. One back in Philadelphia because you weren't running around like crazy,
Yeah,
and then yours up in Upper Darby at the farm.
it was on Eagles Road at the Darby Creek over there. That was a pretty good. We bathed in that Darby Creek. That was pretty good water there, about up to my neck. I remember when I was small.
Is that where you learned to swim?
No, I went to learn how to swim in the Boy Scouts.
Huh.
We had to swim from where you dive in to a platform about 20 feet away. That was the first thing you had to do. The instructor told us how to swim and how to do this. I dived there and I just swam there. Hey, this is easy.
Natural athlete.
Well, good, good. So, okay.